I met a gypsy.
If you could change one thing about the sport now, given all the, we'll finish on this one. If you could, knowing all of the knowledge, seeing everything that you've seen in the last 20 plus years of being around the sport, what would you change about the sport right now that would make it better overall?
Dude, I would, on one hand, I'd want to say like they need to make it a little bit more enjoyable, but I think there's a couple of guys doing that. Like I think Jet's enjoying what he's doing. You know, I don't think he's, because I'm trying to draw a line between the Carmichael train and die era to what we have now. We don't have that now. Like the guys train, they do, but it's not like Ricky did. You know, these kids are taking time off and they're, you know, doing half their moto sometimes, and you know maybe I'm going to probably have to go around a little bit to maybe even find an answer, because I think right now guys are just doing the work with no reason behind it. It's just mindless work. And if you look at like a Jordan or a Kobe or, you know, any champion and everything, like you have to do the work for a reason. You can do less work, but if it's for a reason, your success is going to be better. Then it'd be back to the Nick way. Like he just did work. He didn't really have a reason why. I just need to be strong. For what? So you can do 35 minutes in 12th place? Like, we got to change something. So maybe that would be it. Like, change the thought process of a lot of this homeschool generation. Like, they just have done the work their whole life, and there hasn't been really much thought into it.
Going through the motions.
Yeah. And I think that was, well, not think, I know the few weeks that I communicated with Dungy, his last year on the Suzuki, he was out in California staying at his brother's house, and we linked up for a couple of road rides, and we just started talking, went to lunch a couple times, and we agreed, like, around Unadilla for me to kind of just chat with him and kind of gauge what he's doing during the week. I was going to the races. I was working with Anderson, so I could go to Dungy's truck and talk to him, but I'd talk to him on the phone, you know, during the weeks. And I'm like, well, what's your plan this week, like after Unadilla? He's like, well, this is what I would normally do. And he was still doing 30s.
Yeah.
I'm like, can't you do 30s? Like, have you ever worked on trying to get Villapo to a sprint?
Yeah.
Well, no. Like, but he always did his own work.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't have somebody in his back pocket being like, dude,
maybe try this, maybe try that.
You're as fast as him at the end of the race.
Yeah. But
you're 12 seconds back. What can you do to narrow that 12 seconds after the first 4 laps? And so we started doing that. And it was only a couple of weeks, and we went to Still City, and he qualified. He was literally 5 seconds back from RV in qualification. 5 seconds. And they dropped the gate, and he led RV until Burner, remember Burner was the lapper and got in Dungy's way, and Ryan went around that thing?
Yeah.
And Dungy had that moto, like after being that far down, just by putting himself in a good position. And his first 8 minutes was probably one of the toughest motos of his life.
Yeah.
But then he was on just hitting his marks.
Yeah.
And so to be able to see him make that change that quick, just with a little bit of like
just
rest during the week, and he wasn't like doing his 30s. He did, 3 lappers. I'm like, 8 3-lappers, and that's it. Like, what? Really? And then the next week was Paula down here, and RV won the title, but Dungy won that day. He beat him straight up. They started like 11th and 12th one of the motos, came through. That's when RV's hand fell off the bar. They were like, that was a really, really good race. But I was down there for practice, and I just watched practice, and there was a couple spots, and I was like, well, try this here and try this here. And, you know, those just a couple of, and I do think if you have somebody there that you trust,
for sure,
that can kind of give you like a little bit of confidence with what you're doing so you don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
You're good. And I 100% believe that's what Alden did for him.
Yeah.
Because most people go to Alden and do more work than they've ever done.
Yeah.
So they're just tired.
Yeah. Dungeon's not the case.
Well, Dunge did less work.
Yeah.
When he went to Alden. Because he always overworked.
Yeah.
And then he had somebody to give him a little bit of guidance. Like at the races, like, well, do this, like picking apart the track. Because he wasn't doing all of his gym stuff with a football guy, doing 30-minute motos with his dad, doing the stopwatch. And then his dad's awesome, but he wasn't involved with his race day, like video, picking the track apart, like what line, do this, do that. And it was really, there was 2 spots on the track that I'm like, do this here and do this here, and you'll be good. And he won. You know, and you just, it's just having the eyes to be able to see like certain little things. Like,
yeah.
I mean, the 3 years I spent with Jeremy, like, you could ask anybody, any fan or whatever, and they're like, dude, he's just perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I was the one that had to critique perfect.
Yeah.
You know, like somebody has to critique perfect.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's somebody that has to tell Jet what he's doing wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's like going home and working on his weaknesses.
Yeah.
And then that's why
like,
you see the performance on the weekend.
Yeah. So who's Jet going to listen to?
Yeah.
Like he'll listen to Johnny O because they have that relationship.
Yeah.
He'll listen to his dad because they have that relationship.
Yeah.
You know, it's like but there's not many kids that will listen to their dad.
Yeah, it's so true.
You know?
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm still in a pretty good spot with Ryder. Like,
yeah,
he understands what I've done.
Yeah.
My whole life, and I can still tell him, go get on the rower, go do this, go do that. Like, you know, when he did his first pro race in Colorado, it was a flat off camber left right out of the gate. And he's never ridden pro. Like, and there were some heavy hitters there, like Bubba Warren, like Colin Hudson. There were some legit dudes. Kyle Strait. Like,
yeah.
The list was good. And he's like, I don't like the first turn. Like, I said, yeah, but I'm watching everybody, and you're better than everybody in that first turn. So just do it like you're doing it, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And he never overrode it. And then Jill Kittner, after the race, was like, I know he was good in BMX, but how was he good in that turn?
Yeah.
Like, she noticed he was exceptional in that corner. And I said, well, on our property, we have a hill, and I weed whacked some corners in it, and there's no rut.
Yeah, it's just flat.
And it's way steeper than that one.
Yeah.
And so it's just like trying to make him do the harder stuff during the week.
Yeah.
So it's easier on the weekend. Like,
yeah.
Like Ricky has always said, like, the race should be fun.
Yeah.
The work should be during the week. Like,
yeah.
If you're tired and stressed and losing and making mistakes and crashing and doing all that on the weekend, you need to change what you're doing during the week. You know? So that's just kind of what, you know, I've always tried to do is like do the hard part during the week.
Yeah.
And don't do anything special on the weekend.
Yeah.
If you don't have enough, do what you can do and we'll go fix it.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.